You know, it's been said that knowledge is power, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. And without that knowledge, our people will perish. We also know that the Latin meaning of the word doctor is teacher. And your doctor's job is to teach, reach, and inspire and motivate you to get that knowledge and wisdom and to change your life and the life of your family. And what if I told you that the majority of the things that you learned about health, about healing, about wellness was wrong, or maybe even a lie? Hi, my name is Dr. Eric Nepute, and I've dedicated my life to helping people get to the root cause of their problems and end human suffering. And I've really gone about this in a very non-conventional way. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. Ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be a physician. I've always wanted to help people solve their problems. But when I started my conventional medical training, it just didn't answer the question, why? And that's where my outside-of-the-box, non-conventional health and wellness training started. You see, not only am I a primary care provider, but I also have a doctorate in natural medicine, a doctorate in chiropractic, a fellowship in functional neurology, a fellowship in internal health. I'm a certified athletic trainer. I've got a master's in clinical nutrition and 3 bachelor's degrees in human anatomy, sports medicine, and chemistry. And I don't tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you that I think and act differently because of that. Not only do I have a very diverse educational background, but my business background is very unique as well. I've owned and operated over 30 of my own health and wellness centers that are fully integrated practices where people would come from all over the world to be seen. I've owned and operated surgical centers across the United States. I've been a part owner of a nutraceutical company. I've owned part of a hospital system. I've been involved with pharmaceutical biological companies. I've helped train thousands of doctors across the globe on how to get to the root cause of chronic illness. And as of recently, I've been honored to be a part of the Make America Healthy Again campaign, where Secretary of Health and Human Services, Bobby Kennedy Jr., has asked me to be a part of the movement to help eradicate chronic illness and childhood illness across the globe. I've also testified in front of Congress at a federal and state level to help improve policies and remove some of the unnecessary regulations so that people can actually get to the root cause of their problems and not just manage the diseases. And over the past 2 decades, I've dedicated my life to understanding the human body at its most fundamental level. I've always been driven by one mission, and that's to find the root cause of health issues, not just treat the symptoms. Now, let me ask you this. Have you or anyone you know ever struggled with fatigue, brain fog, weight gain, hormonal imbalances, digestive issues, leaky gut problems, chronic pain, low libido, anxiety, mood swings, autoimmune disorders, hypertension, heart disease, or liver and kidney issues? I know the list is long, but what if I told you there was a company backed by real science and real results that can help you with all of these issues and much more? Welcome to BioLimitless. I've seen firsthand how powerful the right approach can be, and that's exactly what I want to talk to you about with BioLimitless. Because the more you understand about how you are and how your body works, the better you can help yourself and help your family. Because self-care is the real healthcare, and it begins with understanding about you. At BioLimitless, we offer unique technologies backed by research and designed to help tens of thousands of people get better every single day. Let me tell you a little bit about some of the products and how they work. Let's first talk about our Cellular Reset formula. Cellular Reset is not like any typical metabolic or performance supplement on the market. It's a peptide-based bioregulator formula designed to work at a cellular level by combining strategic peptides in a specific manner in order to improve mitochondria, improve cellular repair, and improve metabolism. Some of the amazing results that you're going to have with that is rapid fat loss. We're going to shift your body from a sugar burner to a fat burner without losing muscle mass. In fact, our peptide blend has an exercise in a bottle in it where it literally mimics exercise and helps your body build muscle while burning fat at the same time and helping systemically reduce inflammation, which accelerates tissue recovery and improves endurance, helping your body rest, recharge, and operate at its full biologic potential. Now let's talk a little bit about our cell signals formula. This is a revolutionary bioregulator formula designed to optimize cellular communication and restore cellular efficiency, supporting energy, performance, and systemic balance in the human body. Listen, as we age, the production of key cell signaling molecules decline, dropping by 90% or more by the age of 30. This disrupts our cells' ability to vibrate at a frequency for energy production, detoxification, and repair. And these changes contribute to fatigue, brain fog, slower recovery, and other age-related challenges. Cell Signal combines bioavailable nutrients to offset those issues and help restore optimal performance to the human body. Now, I'm sure many of you know that we're living in an era where anxiety, depression, insomnia, and mental illness are off the charts and rising. Our Neural Reboot formula is a potent tripeptide bioregulator formula designed to help rewire brain function, refire metabolic processes, and reboot cellular regeneration. This advanced blend of peptides works synergistically to restore balance at a cellular level, helping you think clearer, feel stronger, and perform at your best. This formula helps cellular renewal restoration, helps metabolic activation, cognitive function optimization. It connects the brain-gut axis, which helps maintain the communication between the neurotransmitters of your gut and your brain, and it helps with cellular vitality and is the key to longevity. Now, since we're speaking of the brain-gut connection, let me tell you about one of my favorite formulas, our Master Microbiotic formula. It is a clinically validated bioregulator formula designed to optimize gut health and recolonize the microbiome with potent spore-based master microbes and is supported by gut-healing regenerative peptide known as BPC-157, the healing peptide. Utilizing our patented phytomicroencapsulation technology, this formula delivers beneficial probiotics directly into the small intestine where we need them the most. This formula helps restore gut health, boost immune system, and enhances overall well-being in the human body. Now, in our increasingly toxic world, we are bombarded with harmful substances every single day, from heavy metals to microplastics to pesticides, herbicides, larvicides, fungicides, all these chemical toxins that make us toxic. Over 90% of Americans have detectable levels of harmful chemicals in their body that is literally killing them. Our Detox Pro Plus formula is built to combat this toxic burden and support natural detoxification in a safe, daily usable formula, scientifically backed with ingredients that bind and remove toxins while restoring balance at a cellular, genetic, and microbial level. This advanced blend also supports mitochondrial function, healthy inflammation markers, and promotes gut and liver detoxification processes. By targeting the root cause of toxic accumulation, Detox Pro Plus helps restore energy, strengthen immune function, and revitalize overall well-being while empowering the human body to function properly. Now, unlike most healthcare experts, at BioLimitless, we test, we don't guess. Now, I'm not here to discredit traditional healthcare, but if you've been searching for a better way, one that understands how your body works at a genetic and a cellular level, then BioLimitless is the answer. At BioLimitless, we know that true health starts within you. You have the power to transform your life, but it has to start with you. Self-care reimagined begins with you understanding more about yourself. Our BioLimitless DNA Discovery Kit measures over 800,000 genetic markers in your body and gives you the map and the blueprint how to live your life. If you don't understand how to live your genetic lifestyle, I don't care what vitamins, minerals, and supplements you take, you're not optimizing your production. What if there was a test that you could take from home that could measure how you should sleep, how you should exercise, what supplements you should have, when you should take them, what types of injuries your body's prone to, and much, much more. This test by itself has been an absolute game changer for thousands of my patients, and it'll be a game changer for you as well. At BioLimitless, we know that health starts from within. You have the power to transform your health, but it has to start with you. So let's get started today. Go to the link below, explore the products, and join the thousands who have found a better path to health with BioLimitless. Click the link, take control of your health, and transform your life, because self-care is the real healthcare. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all there. My gosh, I hope you guys are having a great day today, wherever in the world you are. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see me and hear me. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Super excited to be with you all today. Man, we have a lot to discuss today. I'm super excited to continue our conversations that we've been having for so long about root cause care. So if you guys are interested in root cause, type in root cause at the bottom of the chat for me so I can see who's with me, where in the world you guys are watching from. Let's talk about some root cause, root cause, root cause. It's so good to see you guys. All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's rock and roll and party. So, hey, listen, how many of you guys know that it's all about finding the root cause of your problem and not just managing your symptoms? We've got so many amazing testimonials and so many amazing results that we've been having by getting to the root cause. We've identified nine root causes, and there's probably some more that are out there. But folks, root cause is where it's at. So, all right, who's with me this morning? Let me give you guys a shout out to wherever you guys are watching. Man, it's crazy to see all this crazy censorship. Make sure you guys are liking and sharing this and commenting. Good morning this morning, Tammy. Hope you're doing well. Donna, good morning in St. Louis. Hope you're doing awesome. Dr. Christine, it is so good to see you. That post I shared from Kennedy, yes, I'll share that later today. I'm going to be commenting on that a lot as well. Kennedy came out yesterday and said that they're going to be releasing. I'll share it with you guys right now. Kennedy says that they now are working with CMS, Medicare, and Medicaid to make sure that there are non-pharmacological therapies that are being allowed to be used by your insurance and not just drugs and surgery. Listen to this. I'll play it right now. Type in where you guys are watching from as well.
Today, right, the Department of Health and Human Services released a Dear Colleague letter issued by four of my HHS agencies, SAMHSA, CMS, HRSA, and ACF. It directs providers across the country to expand the use of evidence-based, non-pharmacologic treatments and to strengthen informed consent and shared decision-making. Today, the department...
So what's happened is HHS has now taken the first steps into allowing you to have access to nutraceuticals, to vitamins, minerals, nutrients, peptides, lifestyle changing things that really is the root cause of most of people's disconnections and diseases that are out there. So really excited about that. Dina, good morning this morning. Miss Dina, hope you're doing well. Christy, good morning down in Tennessee. It's so good to see you. It's Friday in Tennessee. All right, cool. Well, we'll make it Friday in St. Louis today, too. Phyllis, good morning, young lady. Rena, good morning down in Georgia. Hope you're well. Miss Julie, good morning this morning. Susan, yes, it's a little chilly this morning in Missouri. I know it's chilly down at the Lake of the Ozarks. Good morning or good afternoon, Sven, over in Norway. Hope you guys are doing well over there. I was just speaking to my group of Norwegians yesterday afternoon. I am so excited to be heading to Norway soon. I promise when I'm in that region, I will let you know. We're going to get an event going over there. Vicky, good morning in Minnesota. Marcy, good morning. It's great to see you. Susan, good morning in Colorado. Ashley, good morning in Georgia. Linda, good morning this morning, young lady. And we are going to get after the root cause with what we're talking about today. It is so good. All right, let's get into this stuff. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. Did you know, folks, and I was just talking to a large group of doctors about this morning. I'm going to share this with you. There are certain infections that our body gets. You know, that strep that you got when you were a little kid, that strep throat. You know, a lot of times that strep throat manifested as problems in the throat when you were younger, or maybe even as an adult, but then it went dormant. Did you know that most viruses and bacteria that our body come in contact with, we never really get rid of them. They never really leave our ecosystem. They integrate into our body. We actually have something called a microbiome and a microbiome. How many of you have heard of microbiome? Somebody type in microbiome in the chat. Microbiome is your it's the balance of your bacteria, the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, the fungi, all the things. It's the microbiome is essential for your health. But what most people don't know about is something called the microbiome. How many of you ever heard of the biome? V-I-O-M-E. Somebody I'll type it in there. Microbiome. Okay. That microbiome, that's a powerful deal. That's your viruses. Good morning as well. Root cause, everybody's talking with me. I love it. Microbiome and microbiome. Check this out. Look, see where it says microbiome with a V? We have viruses that integrate into our body and bacteria that integrate into our body. Did you know that when we're younger, like if you get, for example, if you get chickenpox, which is a zoster virus, early on in your young life, and you deal with it naturally, your body develops an immune response, and it can actually fight off other viruses. In fact, it can reduce the risk of certain other diseases like leukemia and other types of cancers. So viruses and bacteria, when we get exposed to those at a young age, that's not always a bad thing. A lot of times it's a good thing, but most people don't realize that a lot of the viruses that you've been dealing with are still problematic in your body, and they flare up from time to time when your body is in a weak state. Okay. So listen, your body's either in a weak state or a peak state. If it's in a weak state, your immune system's weak, your brain's weak. You get symptoms like brain fog, fatigue, you get metabolic issues, your body's slow, your brain's slow, you can't burn fat as fuel, you just kind of feel blah and tired. How many of y'all that knows that happens a lot? Now listen, what most people don't know is there are certain viruses that we know that cause problems. Like, for example, Epstein-Barr virus, EBV. Who's ever heard of Epstein-Barr? Somebody do me a favor and type Epstein-Barr, EBV virus, into the chat below. Epstein-Barr. Epstein-Barr virus is a virus that when you get it, it never leaves your body. It's from mono. We've all been exposed to mono. Like 95% of the global population has been exposed to mono. Well, that virus, once you have a good, healthy immune system, that virus gets put into what I call immune system prison. It gets put into your microbiome. You've got guards that stand at the gate. Those guards are your T cells. Those T cells help keep the virus at bay. If the virus does not, if the guards aren't there, the virus will escape and it will cause havoc throughout your system. Epstein-Barr virus is one of the leading causes of lupus. Epstein-Barr virus is one of the leading causes of Hashimoto's thyroiditis. What about H. pylori? Many of you guys, most people think H. pylori is an infection. It's actually an epigenetic change in the bacteria of your stomach, not your GI tract, but in your stomach. And H. pylori can also trigger thyroid problems. It can trigger arthritic changes in the joints. So there are so many infections that are out there that actually cause those problems. And so I'm going to teach you a little bit about that today. And then I'm going to teach you things that you can do for that. But please understand, the way that we treat the body, whether it's Epstein-Barr, cytomegalovirus, herpes, whether it's strep, staph, it's all pretty much the same. It's all about getting the body to get improved. It's all about getting the immune system to function. There is no magic to this. There's no like, take this for Epstein-Barr, take this for HPV. It doesn't even work that way. You just have to get your body working in the right manner in order that it was designed to do that. So let's get into this conversation today. Today, we're going to continue our conversation on root causes. Do me a favor, guys, make sure you share this post on your feed. That way you can always go back and rewatch it as well. Okay, I know that you guys always want to see these again. So listen, root cause number 4. Now, in no particular order, okay, there are 9 root causes, okay? We talked already about insulin resistance as a root cause. We talked about toxemia as a root cause. We talked about sympathetic overload, the brain being overstressed as a root cause. And today we're going to talk about underlying infections that most people have, and most of your doctors aren't even testing for it. And we measure these on all of our patients. Please remember, folks, you got to understand this. This is the truth. And the truth, boy, it will set you free. You are not broken. You're blocked. Okay. One of the biggest misunderstandings in modern health today is the belief that when somebody gets something, okay, or they get over a virus or over a bacteria or over a pathogen, that it's completely gone and it leaves their body forever. That could not be more farther from the truth. Okay. That is not how it works. And I need you to understand, you're not diseased. Your body's disconnected. The immune system is not connected to the nervous system the way that it's supposed to. I will show you today how to reconnect that. If you want to learn how to reconnect that, type reconnect in the chat and I'll teach you guys how to reconnect that. Type reconnect in the chat and I will also make sure that you get this presentation as well. So what's really happening is that many viruses, viruses and bacteria and fungi and parasites, so many people ask me about parasites all the time. Yes, they're real. Yes, they contribute to a lot of problems. Do they cause every problem that's out there? No. But when you deal with parasites, you're also dealing with viruses and other bacteria. So what I'm going to teach you today is going to help you with parasites as well. Okay. Now, after you deal with the parasite or you deal with the virus, it lays dormant inside your body for long after the symptoms disappear. They hide inside the tissues, in the nerves, in the immune cells, in the connective tissues like your muscles. They get in your gut microbiome. And then when our body gets into a weak state, they release, and then they cause problems. So, many of you that have autoimmune issues, most autoimmune issues are triggered by some type of viral escape. We're going to get into that conversation today. And if you're not dealing with those and treating those, then you're never going to fix your problems. Okay. Now, the immune system has a guardian. Okay. Let's talk about the guardian in the immune system. The reason many people never develop major symptoms when they're exposed to viruses and bugs and pathogens is because their immune system is strong enough. It has a guardian. Okay. And the guardians are your T cells. They're the fighters. They're white blood cells. And they have ammunition. They have bullets. And that bullets is an enzyme called protease. And protease is what kills bacteria. They shoot protease at viruses. They shoot protease at bacteria. They shoot protease at cancer cells, and they destroy it. That is why it is vitally important that human beings are taking plant-based multi-enzymes. Not only does it help you digest your food, but it gives your white blood cells ammunition to go and fight infections. Listen, when you take an enzyme with a meal, it helps you digest your food and improves immune system function. It gives you protease and other enzymes. When you take this on an empty stomach, it reduces inflammation, it reduces plaque buildup, and it reduces histamines in the body. And it gives your white blood cells the ammo to go and fight what it's supposed to fight. And if you have a weakened immune system, low T cells and low ammunition, those viruses escape, those bacteria escape. You have this constant cycle. We see this all the time with women, especially older women with recurrent urinary tract infections. It literally can wreak havoc throughout the entire ecosystem. So when the body becomes overwhelmed, this is what I need you to understand. When the human body becomes overwhelmed, four main things happen. Overwhelmed by stress, physical, chemical, and emotional stress. And in that emotional stress is neurological and spiritual stresses. Yes, folks, we are a spiritual, energetic being having a physical manifestation on this planet right now. We are in control of this body. We are in control of our surroundings. We're in control of a lot more than we think we are. But what happens when we become overwhelmed is our immune system weakens, number one, okay? That's the body's primary defense against infections. It starts to fail. Number two, our T cells. These are the fighters, killer T cells. They kill the viruses, kill the bacteria, kill the parasites. If you have enough killer T cells and you have enough of an immune system, you can't get parasitic infections. You can't get colds and flus. You can't get hantavirus, coronavirus, any of those other things that they're trying to scare the living you-know-what out of you with. Because when your immune system's strong, it can defend against everything. Why is there 1,000 people in a school and little Billy shows up with a runny nose and a cold and a flu, and only some people get a cold and flu and everybody doesn't? The ones who do get the symptoms have a weakened immune system and their T cells are weak. I'm going to show you today how to boost that up. I think it's going to surprise you how simple it is. And then you get inflammation that rises. We know that inflammation is the fourth stage of the 7 stages of disconnection. And then your nervous system dysregulates, and that's stage 6 of the 7 stages of disconnection. When that happens, that's how we get sick. That's how viruses, bugs, bacteria, and etc. bother us. So if we're exposed to hantavirus or coronavirus or flus or colds or whatever, or parasites, and all of those 4 things are working and strong, guess what happens? We don't get sick. We don't get sick. That's how the body works. It's beautifully and wonderfully made. Folks, I'm around people that you would consider sick and contagious all the time. I never get sick. The only thing I get is every once in a while, I get tired because I push this body a little harder than it should sometimes. So once the body's defense weakens, okay, once it weakens sufficiently enough, these dormant
pathogens, like the old Epstein-Barr monovirus you had when you were in college flares up, or the old HPV, the old herpes virus that you came in contact with when you were younger now flares up, and you get a herpes breakout, or you get a shingles breakout. The old Zostra virus, the old chickenpox virus you got when you were a kid that's been laying dormant in your nerve cells now shows up in the form of a shingle, which you do not need a shingles vaccine for. All you need is a good functioning immune system. You get a flare-up of your immune responses. You ever hear people say, I've got an autoimmune flare-up? That's usually when your immune system is in a weak state, not a peak state. You can get neurological dysfunction as well, okay? Brain fog, you can get nerve pain, you can get mood. You ever see people get depressed for like no reason? A lot of times that's because the immune system is depressed, and now the nervous system is depressed, and now these viruses and pathogens are wreaking havoc in your system. You get hormonal disruption and you get accelerated aging. Literally, it ages you. How many of you know people that were doing great, had a full head of long black hair, and got sick? Their immune system got compromised, and either their hair started falling out, they started looking old and frail, and maybe their hair turned white on them. That's a sign of a weak immune system, not a peak system, a weak system. And so the hidden infections are the phenomenon that I want to discuss with you today. Most infections are not simply gone. They do not go away. Instead, the body learns how to manage them. It adapts to them. And as we have a good, strong immune system, our body's in a constant state of always putting them in check. But as we get older, or the more stress we have, or really the less amount of resilience we have, okay, low resilience, that's going to cause these bacteria and these parasites and these viruses to wreak havoc in our system. But we are in control. We are in control of this. So let me show you a little bit more about this. So what keeps our pathogens quiet in our body? What keeps them calm? Number one is a resilient, strong immune system, okay? That is why you want to have a resilient, strong immune system. I'm going to show you one of the key nutrients to your immune system, without question, is vitamin D3. Listen, vitamin D3 has been proven. If you are sufficient in vitamin D, it can lower the risk of all-cause infections. Some studies say by 20% and others say by 30%. Vitamin D regulates something in the body called the cytokine storm. Cytokines are immune modulating chemicals that are put throughout the body whenever there's an infection or the alarm goes off. During COVID, people didn't die from COVID. They died from the cytokine storm. Their immune system and inflammatory system just went crazy, and nothing was there to turn it down or turn it up. Vitamin D is the regulator. Somebody put in the chat, vitamin D is the regulator of the immune system. Vitamin D regulates the immune system. So if your vitamin D is below an 80 on a blood test, that's a problem. You do not have the regulators like you're supposed to. That reminds me, I'm going to take my vitamin D. I take 4 of these every day, all right? I didn't take my vitamin D this morning, and I'm drinking my yerba mate tea with it. So vitamin D3, K2, okay? You need strong nutrient status. This is a non-negotiable. You must have vitamin D. You must have magnesium for your immune system. You must have phytonutrients. And then here's the other big thing. You have to have a gut healthy microbiome. If your gut microbiome is not healthy, your body is not healthy. You have to understand 80%, somebody write in the chat, 80% of your immune system lives in your gut microbiome, okay? That gut microbiome, those bacteria that are in there, fight off viruses. They fight off other bacteria. They fight off pathogens. If you have a good, sufficient gut microbiome, you could eat a whole jar of parasites. I'm not asking you to do that or saying that's a good idea, but you could have a whole jar of parasites and not have a parasitic infection. But your gut bacteria has to be balanced. That's why we created the Master Microbiotics. There is no bacteria on the market like this. Folks, we've studied the blue zones of the world, and we found that these are the most common bacteria that are in healthy people that live a long, healthy, productive life with strong immune systems, with good brain function, with good cardiovascular function. We took that blueprint and turned that into this probiotic that your body actually can culture and cultivate and make more good bacteria from. That's why we made this probiotic. If you're not taking a probiotic every day, unless you're eating massive amounts of fermented foods, there's no way you have a healthy microbiome. It's just not physically possible. And then the fourth thing that is so important, this is so important, and those of you who have blood sugar issues know this. When your blood sugar is not stable, you have a higher risk of getting sick. This is why we always talk about, I keep my blood sugars balanced by intermittent fasting. I drink my yerba mate tea to allow me to fast throughout the day. I also take during the day, and I've already had some this morning, but I take 3 of the cell signal formulas to keep my blood sugar balanced, to keep my body burning fat as fuel. Because if you're burning fat as fuel and you're burning ketones, ketones are a strong immune booster, very strong immune booster. That's why when you're sick, fasting is a good idea. Okay, so I take 3 of these in the morning and 3 of these at noon to keep my immune system bolstered and opens up my detox pathways. So we drink the tea, we use the cell signal, and then I take a fiber powder before every meal. And the fiber powder that we take is konjac root fiber. Listen, konjac root fiber can absolutely block about 30% of your sugars and insulins when they spike. If your sugar spikes, your immune system's going to take a hit. And by the way, for those of you that want to know, this form of this form of yerba mate tea literally raises your GLP-1 production in your body by 41% without having to take any type of shots that have, unfortunately, side effects to them. Okay. So this is important. I promise I'm going to show you more of how to deal with this. All right, now check this out. Here's the perfect storm that causes our problems. When we have chronic stress, when we eat processed foods, and remember, 70% of the standard American diet is ultra processed foods. When we're sleep deprived, less than 7 hours a night, when our environmental toxins like heavy metals and microplastics are high, when we've got mold exposure, which so many people do, especially right now with all this sinus and allergy stuff that you've got, it's mold and fungus. If you have alcohol and your liver stressed out, or if you eat too much sugar, that becomes a major problem. Or if you're nutritionally deficient, low minerals and low B vitamins and low fat soluble. Listen, if you're low in vitamin A, D, E, and K, if you're low in your B vitamins and your minerals, you're going to get sick. Okay, period. You don't have the tools and the fuel to fight things off. If you've got emotional trauma, that's a trigger for your immune system to weaken. If you've got a sedentary lifestyle, our bodies are made to use it or lose it. You guys, if you don't use your body, you're going to lose your body. Okay. You should go for a 10-minute walk after every meal and do resistance training at least 2, if not 3 times a week. Okay. If you've got antibiotic overuse, and most people who eat food have over consumption of antibiotics. What do you mean, Dr. Eric? Well, it's in our meat that we eat, right? It's in most of the meat is filled with antibiotics. Antibiotics make the meat fatter. Did you know that? They make the meat heavier. So when the farmers take it to market, it's got more meat on the bone, more fat on the bone, makes it way worse for us. And one antibiotic prescription can destroy your immune system. They used to tell us for up to 18 months, but some of these antibiotics, you guys remember when we were kids, the little pink medication that we used to take, you remember that thing? That can destroy your immune system for up to 8 freaking years. 8. Yeah, amoxicillin. 8 can totally destroy that. If your gut bacteria is off and if you've got chronic inflammation, you're vulnerable for these pathogens to stay active in your body. So let's talk about the common pathogens and their effects on your system. All right, first one we're going to talk about, Epstein-Barr virus. Some of you have already asked about this, so here it is, EBV. Type Epstein-Barr in the chat, okay? Epstein-Barr is one of the most widespread viruses on the planet. I've got several reports that I'm giving to patients today. Almost every one of them has active Epstein-Barr virus, okay? You contract it through mono as a kid or in college, and it remains dormant in your body until your immune system weakens. It will cause thyroid problems. It will lead to lupus. It will cause brain fog and cognitive issues. It causes a plethora of autoimmune problems, massive chronic fatigue. Those of you that have Epstein-Barr, when you have a flare-up, you get massive fatigue, massive low energy. Your brain really, it doesn't turn off, it just turns way down, and everything just hurts. And you get fibromyalgia-like symptoms, and you get neurological inflammation. Okay? If you follow the protocol I'm going to share with you here, you'll be able to put this at bay. Now, Zoster virus, herpes, and cytomegalovirus. These are 3 the three amigos that I find all the time with people. So herpes can cause shingles. By the way, there's lots of different herpes viruses that are out there, and they're not all sexually transmitted. But cold sores, okay? If you get a cold sore, somebody type in cold sore, take L-lysine. L-lysine. 1,000 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams a day will put L-lysine at bay. You take L-lysine with vitamin D3, 10,000 IUs a day, that will put herpes at bay. You got a shingles breakout, you load up on L-lysine, vitamin D3, those are huge for you. HPV, human papillomavirus, okay? These are huge. HPV viruses also respond very well to L-lysine, vitamin D, and etc. By the way, HPV can cause cancer, right? HPV can cause inflammation. HPV can cause hormone disruption, especially in women. HPV can cause even emotional stresses and ups and downs. And I will tell you that we've even seen HPV be a big trigger for insulin resistance with people. Okay, here's another one, cytomegalovirus. Cytomegalovirus is something that most people come in contact with, okay? Cytomegalovirus can cause chronic respiratory issues, shortness of breath. It can cause COPD type symptoms. It can cause tachycardia. We've even seen cytomegalovirus be a major trigger to POTS syndrome, positional orthostatic tachycardia. You sit, you stand, you get lightheaded, your heart pounds a little bit. You got to check those things and rule it out. These underlying pathogens are a major root cause to lots of people's problems, and you never get rid of them. Your body has to integrate them and keep them in, like I said, in immune system prison. Here are some other big ones, okay? Staphylococcus and streptococcus, okay? These are both bacteria that are notorious for causing problems. By the way, how many of you have ever heard me talk about the word biofilm? Somebody type in the chat biofilm in the chat. Biofilm is a protective mechanism that these bugs, these bacteria put down. So strep, a lot of times you guys get strep in the throat, in the nose, but strep can sit in the gut. Strep can lead to a lot of problems like joint pain, other infections, recurrent throat issues. Most people that have had to get their tonsils or their adenoids removed, it was because of recurrent strep. And that's still in your body, okay? It can cause other infections, neurological problems. It can lead to autoimmune issues. Strep is a really big deal. Like strep is a bad deal. Strep and staph can both lead to pandas, which is an autoimmune issue in children, all right? They form this thing called a biofilm. A biofilm is mucus. It's phlegm. It's a protective mechanism that the bacteria puts out to hide from the immune system. Okay, it hides from it. And so we use two things to destroy biofilms. Number one, we use our Detox Pro Plus. The Detox Pro Plus formula has components in it that helps destroy biofilms in the body, and so do enzymes. So we take enzymes with food and enzymes on an empty stomach, and then we use Detox Pro Plus to destroy the biofilm. If we destroy the biofilm, now we can actually kill the bacteria. Now, we also use a formula called silver. We use hydrolyzed or colloidal silver. I like hydrolyzed because hydrolyzed will go through the biofilm and literally penetrate and destroy the bacteria underneath. So biofilms are real, and it's a real big problem with people. All right, let's talk about Lyme disease. Listen, I got to tell you, I remember years ago, like 20 years ago, when, doctors would even tell you, they would even tell you up until 5 years ago that Lyme isn't real. There are doctors that I would see in the state of Missouri and across the globe that were saying Lyme disease is fake. It's not real. It's not a real situation. That is the most craziest thing that you could ever possibly think, okay? Lyme disease is a serious problem. I'm going to tell you it's a man-made problem. I'm going to tell you it needs to be dealt with, and there's a lot of co-infections that deal with Lyme disease, okay? Lyme disease has Bordella with it. It has a lot of other spirochete infections. It can cause massive fatigue. It can cause major joint pain. We see a lot of rheumatoid arthritis and a lot of juvenile arthritis caused by Lyme disease. And most doctors are not Lyme literate doctors. You need to go to a Lyme literate doctor. I've been a Lyme literate doctor for almost 20 years now. And Lyme is a serious problem that most people deal with, and they never even know they've got it. It causes horrible joint pain, like profound, ridiculous fatigue, major neurological symptoms like forgetting words. It mimics Parkinson's syndrome. It mimics dementia. It causes massive memory issues. These are people who can get anxiousness for no reason because your body's fighting a battle inside. You may not be aware of it, but your nervous system and your immune system are. And people get a lot of times pain patterns that move throughout their body. One day my shoulder hurts, the next day my hip hurts, the next day my knee hurts. And it's not a mechanical problem. It's literally a chemical imbalance from the Lyme infection that was from the tick, from the mosquito, or we now know it can be sexually transmitted. I'm going to show you how to deal with these things in a moment. Candida and fungal overgrowths and parasites. Candida is a big one. We find that all the time. Candida hides things like H. pylori. Candida hides other infections. Candida is known as the great masker. Somebody put that in the chat. Candida equals the great masker. Candida can mimic everything from heart disease, cancers, Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, chronic pain, chronic inflammation. Dealing with candida and fungus is a huge deal. Most of the sinus infections that you have are fungal related infections, okay? If you got toe fungus, obviously that's a systemic issue in the body. There's a lot that can be done to deal with that. And then parasitic issues. You guys, it's so weird to me. I travel all over the world and the US is getting better at it, but we're one of the only countries on the planet that do not regularly deworm ourselves, which is crazy. Like we use ivermectin all the time, but I'll tell you right now, you want a natural ivermectin like combination blend. Here it is. Number one is the Master Microbiotics formula. It's got the bacteria. Remember, ivermectin is a soil-based microorganism that grows the gut bacteria. The biggest thing that ivermectin does is it feeds bifidobacterium. Ivermectin feeds bifidobacterium. That's the biggest thing it does. That is the biggest mechanism of action. It feeds bifidobacterium. So does vitamin D3 and so does vitamin C. That's why vitamin C is beneficial. That's why vitamin D is beneficial. It feeds the bifidobacterium. So if you want a parasitic protocol, Master Microbiotics number one, pair it with the Detox Pro Plus. We use the same soil-based microorganisms that an individual would use to make ivermectin in these formulas, okay? Here's your binder and chelator. This changes the pH of the body. When a parasite gets in contact with fulvic and humic acid, it destroys the outside layer of it. The minerals are going to positively charge the ions in there to make the environment not hospitable for, or make it not good, if you will, for a parasite, candida, and fungus. And then you chase it with the enzymes. Enzymes have protease. Protease is a gun. Pa, pa, pa. Those are bullets. It's going to spit it at that parasite, okay? And yes, parasites can cause autoimmune issues. Yes, they can cause cancers and so many other problems. So what do we do about it? Okay, why do pathogens cause such problems? Here's why. Here's why they cause these problems. Number one, okay, you got inflammation in your body. Number two, your pH is too low. If your pH is below a 7 on a urine test, your voltage is low. If your voltage is low, that's why one of the reasons why we made the cell signal formula. It turns up the voltage in the body. So does zinc, so does magnesium, so does selenium, okay? Zinc, magnesium, and selenium all turn the voltage up. If you're chronically stressed and your cortisol levels are too high, or if they're too low, that's going to predispose you to these pathogens. If you've got gut issues, your bacteria is off, okay? That's why we made the Master Microbiotics and the Detox Pro Plus. If you're nutritionally deficient, okay, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, cofactors, you're at risk. If you have poor circulation, if your lymphatics are stagnant, remember, for the lymphatics, that's why we made the cell signal, and that's why we made the Detox Pro Plus. We made these combination formulas so that you had a one shot fits all for everything. If you have low oxygen, this is a very big problem. If you're not breathing through your nose regularly, you're not making enough oxygen and you're not making enough nitric oxide to open up the blood vessels and push the pathogens out. Nose breathing is important. If you're a mouth breather, that's a big problem. And if your insulin is high and your sugars are high, that is going to feed the pathogens. Listen, sugar feeds pathogens. Sugar and insulin feeds and grows parasites. It feeds and grows cancers. It feeds and grows candida, yeast, fungus, and so much more. Okay? So what do we do about it? All right, here's the deal. It's a 3-step process. This is what we do. Write this down or remember this. Here we go. Number 1, make sure you guys share this, by the way. You got to reduce the acute symptoms first. Step 1, I got to get you feeling better. And we got to get the energy to go up. If I can get your body in motion and get energy going, that will help you. This is why we created the cell signal formula. Okay. The cell signal formula is going to increase the voltage. When the voltage goes up, that makes the terrain inside the body not conducive for viruses, parasites, pathogens, bacteria, all the things. All the things, okay? 3 of these in the morning and 3 of these midday keeps the energy up, keeps the voltage up, and it keeps the environment more alkaline. If you're alkaline, Otto Weinberg won a Nobel Prize finding that if you have an alkaline environment, you can't grow sickness and disease, including cancers, okay? So this formula increases the voltage, okay? The electrical potential that zaps these pathogens. It improves cell membrane permeability. Listen, you pair this with a good omega-3 fish oil, and you got a real strong cell wall. It supports mitochondria, helps with methylation, that's detox. We got to push the toxins and pathogens out of the body so they don't continue to recycle, okay? It shifts the body towards ketosis, which is a key essential nutrient for health and healing, and it reduces metabolic stress at a cellular level. That is a non-negotiable. Step 1, we've got to improve the cell voltage, okay? Now, we've got to also make sure that we're opening up the body so that it can detoxify itself. Step number 2 in this, we always use our Detox Pro Plus. I made this Detox Pro Plus formula for such a time as this, for all the underlying infections that you're dealing with. You add the cell signal and the Detox Pro Plus together, that opens up the liver. The liver is the organ that filters your blood and filters the toxins. Your liver gets congested, it backs up, we get toxic. You're sick because your liver's toxic and your cells are toxic. This formula removes the heavy metals, the microplastics, the parasitic debris, the waste products from your metabolism, the graphene oxide, the glyphosates, all the crap that gets in your system. It helps the body remove that. And then it puts back 84 of the 92 essential nutrients. All the minerals the body needs for that spark of life is there with this formula. These two together are a freaking game changer for killing off pathogens and restoring the body to homeostasis. Many of you are already experiencing that. Now what we do, we've got to restore the gut microbiome. That's why the triple stack was created. The triple stack includes the Detox Pro Plus, it includes the cell signal, and it includes the master microbiotics. Put in the chat, triple stack equals parasite killer. Triple stack equals viral killer. Triple stack equals bacteria killer. We've got to get the control center back in order. The gut bacteria is the essential key for that. The bifidobacterium, you must have bifidobacterium and lactobacillus and specific types of it, or you do not have an immune system. That's why we made that formula. People don't get sick when their gut is balanced, okay? This will regulate and suppress pathogens. This will support immune signaling. This will reduce systemic inflammation. This will produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. That's huge for healing in the body. That's how your brain signals to what to do. This will protect your gut lining, which is the key, where 80%, remember, 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. And it'll improve nutritional absorption. A lot of you are taking vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and eating clean foods. You're still sick because you're not absorbing them. Here's the next step. This is a non-negotiable. You want to keep your body healthy. You want to keep these bacteria at bay. Get in fasting and get into ketosis. Fasting is one of the most powerful metabolic tools available for your immune system regulation. By lowering your blood sugar, by reducing your insulin spikes, like you can do that with drinking the yerba mate tea. You can do that with using the cell signal formula. You can do that by taking the balance formula, the konjac root fiber before you eat a meal. That will help your body create an environment where pathogens struggle to live. They cannot thrive in a ketogenic system. They cannot thrive in a ketogenic system. Ketosis kills pathogens. Somebody write that in the chat. Ketosis kills pathogens. Please write that in the chat because it's so powerful and true. So we've talked about intermittent fasting. We've talked about ketosis. By the way, the cell signal formula mimics ketosis. It forces you to go into ketosis. It has BHB in it. BHB is an exogenous ketone that forces you into fat burn. Okay. Now here's our protocols. Fasting protocols. Start with 12 hours a day. Once you get good at that, move to 16 and 8 hours. And then when you get really good, get to 18 hours a day of fasting. Work up to that. Okay. You can do that. Yes, you can. Type down on the bottom, yes, I can, because you can. Okay. All right. Now listen, the benefits of fasting for the immune system, it's going to stabilize your blood sugars. It's going to stabilize your insulin. It cleans up the debris. Okay. Fasting produces something called autophagy. Autophagy is the cleanup crew in your body. It makes the white blood cells go and eat up the bad bacteria, go and chew up the viruses, go and eat up the parasites. Your body already has an inborn built-in system to do that. All you have to do is get it into ketosis and fasting and give it the right support, and it will stay there. Ketosis is the key, okay? Is the key. All right. Yerba mate tea. You guys know yerba mate tea is a fasting ally. I drink 24 ounces of yerba mate in the morning from like now until noon. And then I'll do another one from like noon until 5. I'll literally sip on this all day. It improves circulation, cardiovascular function. It helps with mental clarity. It helps with fasting. At the bottom, I'll put the little ticker taper there. That's the website. Take a screenshot of it. You guys can go there and order. It's called the Feel Great System. Go and order that. It's the yerba mate teas with the balance formula. To me, it's a no-brainer. It helps me deal with what I got to deal with on a daily basis, which is keeping my body in ketosis, keeping my immune system strong. It's an absolute unequivocal, like must-have, no-brainer. Then fiber. Fiber blocks. Listen, soluble fiber saves your life. Somebody write that down. Soluble fiber saves your life. I use a formula every day called Balance. Balance is konjac root fiber. Konjac root helps balance out your blood sugars, keeps your insulin from spiking, and it helps feed your gut microbiome. And it keeps you pooping. Why is that important? Because when you dump the garbage from your cells to the blood, from your liver to the bowels, from the bowels to the toilet, you got to get it moved out of there, and Balance helps do that. Plus, if you take it with a meal, it blocks your sugar and glucose and insulin absorption. It's a no-brainer. Konjac root fiber, if you guys can get your hands on some, can and will change your freaking life, okay? Now, let's talk about what I call some bio basics for immune system defense. If you guys want this presentation in the chat, and we'll hook you up with this one as well. But there are some bio basics that you can take in addition. These are what I call luxuries, not necessities, but these are pretty dang luxurious to help you. So here are the core 4 immune boosting supplements. Omega-3 fish oils, okay? This is a no-brainer. Like 2 to 3 grams of EPA and DHA. You can get it from olive oil, omega-3s, fish, krill oil, eating salmon, eating those healthy foods. It helps your immune system, and it helps your cells get rid of the bad debris. Vitamin D3K2, I already told you, that's the nutrient that you should be sufficient in. It lengthens your life and reduces the risk of infections. Okay, magnesium glycinate, no brainer, 300 milligrams twice a day for most people. Once a day is fine for a lot as well. Usually they'll do 300 in the morning and 300 in the evening time. Everybody's body's a little different, but it is so important for infections, for signaling, and so much more. And then zinc and copper. Zinc and copper helps with the immune system. First of all, look at your fingernails. If you got little lines in your nails or little white circles, that's a sign of zinc deficiency. Okay. If you get white in your goatee or white in your hair, that's a sign of copper deficiencies. Okay. Your T cells need zinc and copper. Those are your fighters. Those are the guards that stand at the gate and block those infections from leaving. So zinc and copper together are no-brainers. That's part of our BioBasics protocol we put together. Here's some other things that you can do for additional support. Oregano oil. Oregano oil works better than antibiotics. Okay. 2,000 to 5,000 milligrams a day of oregano oil. Very strong, destroys all kinds of things. Coconut oil. Coconut oil has monolaurin in it. Monolaurin destroys bugs, bacteria, parasites. Put a scoop in your coffee. Put a scoop in your tea. Put a scoop and put it on your skin. take a scoop and put it in your mouth and eat it. Like a half a teaspoon a day is all the human body really needs. Garlic has allicin. Allicin is a strong antibiotic, strong antiparasitic, like 2,000 to 5,000 milligrams a day, or eating 1 or 2 cloves of raw garlic a day. And then astragalus. Astragalus helps boost the immune system through your bone marrow, okay? It's a classic adaptogenic herb that has been shown to support immune system modulation. It reduces immune system exhaustion and increases resilience. It helps a lot with chronic stress. I prescribe astragalus a lot for my patients. Astragalus, okay, is the name of it, okay? Astragalus is fantastic for people, all right? Now, you guys are doing great. Sleep is a non-negotiable. Listen, if you get less than 5 hours of sleep a day, you're going to die faster than you would like. Your insulin's going to stay high. Your sugars are going to stay high. You can't burn fat. Your hormones are a mess, and you're going to feel and look like crap. So 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day is necessary. You got to have consistent sleep. Try to get to bed by 10:30. Try to wake up at the same time every day. Sleep in a cool, dark environment. Reduce your blue lights, okay? Cell phones and laptops and TVs mess up your sleep, okay? Avoid heavy meals at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Limit alcohol, especially 2 hours before sleep, and avoid stimulants later in the day. Typically, stop drinking coffee by 2 or 3 o'clock and you'll be good. Sleep is a non-negotiable for health, you guys. And then hydration and movement. Look, hydration is more than water. That's why you should put sea salt in your water. Okay, put a squeeze of lemon or lime in your water. That helps you actually hydrate. Use the Detox Pro Plus once a day in water. That gets you the minerals that you need. You need at least 2 liters of fluids a day in your body, and get moving. If you don't move it, you lose it. One of the most powerful tools that you can do is start going for a 10-minute walk after each meal. And guys, you just have to remember, and I say this all the time, you're not broken, you're blocked. You're not diseased, you're disconnected. All you need to do is get your body balanced and remember that the best is truly yet to come. So guys, give me a thumbs up if you learned something from that today. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed that. If you guys want this presentation, type presentation in the chat, and I will hook you up with that as well later today. You guys can do this. I'm so freaking proud of all you guys. Yes, we'll hook you up with the links. We'll get you all that stuff as well. The link for the fiber, guys, look, the link for the fiber is right here. You guys can go and grab it. It's here at the bottom. You feel great, okay? .com/C/BioLimitless. You can get all of our BioLimitless products at BioLimitless.com. That's BioLimitless.com as well. All right, guys, listen, we got an amazing day planned today. People are coming to see us from all over the globe. I got to get going. I got to go see my team. I'll be sipping on my yerba mate tea all day. Folks, stay tuned. We got some big announcements we're going to be making over the weekend and next week. And folks, remember, you are in control, and the best is yet to come. Have an amazing day and be well. Take care.